Autocracy, social and political instability has for a long time hovered its dark cloud over Africa. Governments in the seat of power often clamp down on opposition parties and critics despite the rule of democracy in the country. The role of every good opposition is crucial to a democracy and speaks directly to a state's future. Opposition plays varying roles in Parliament. This could be on behalf of their constituency for policy development and accounting for project implementation. But more often than not, these roles are hindered, stifled or totally annihilated, and it creates a dense atmosphere which could lead to a political instability and chaos. Many African opposition parties or people who speak against the government face trying times in countries like Zambia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and the most recent one making headlines, Uganda. So what lies ahead for these opposition parties, and to what extent will the government go to further silence them? Joining us now to discuss more on this is an African affairs analyst, Mr. Okwi Opala. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Why is it difficult for governments in Africa to appreciate the role of the opposition, or any criticism for that matter?
Well, I think many have blamed it on the pre-colonial governance structures that existed in Africa, whereby the monarch is all-knowing, all-powerful, and nobody, anything suggesting that is not all-wise and is, considered as a treason. But the unfortunate thing is that even, the modern leaders of Africa, even those who started off as liberators, just like Museveni that you talked about, who started as human rights activists, end up joining the gang of dictators that have held Africa hostage. I don't think we can still excuse them by saying that, oh, the structures that existed before the white men came were concentrated powers on one person and two, and therefore, it's no longer an excuse, because these are people who enjoy, when they go to those countries, they enjoy other countries in Europe, in America, they enjoy civil liberties, they are very vociferous about their rights, and they go there for treatment, they go there for holidays, and they don't want to make Africa look like those places that they want to do. So I don't really think, even though some people give that as an excuse, but then I don't think it is still tenable, because we have enough time to go beyond that.
While it is likely that most opposition groups want to pull down the government, they're actually supposed to help keep the government on its toes and keep tabs on policies and so on. But is the opposition good for governments in Africa, or should we be looking towards redeveloping systems of government peculiar to each country?
Opposition is good for government everywhere. Opposition is not just good for government, it's good for individuals. Nobody attains his best, his best. Nobody fulfills his potentials except when challenged. The job of opposition is to challenge the government, tell them that, oh, you may say you have done so much, there are a lot you have not done, there are a lot that you've done that we are wrong, and this is the work of opposition, so that they identify the gaps and keep government on their toes. So I don't think, what will happen is we should not think about, maybe Africans should develop their model. See, this is a stage in development. At a point in time, the European countries of this world, had dictators, they had emperors, they had monarchs who had absolute power. But as civilization comes, the more they civilize their mind, they civilize their thoughts, a government that involves more and more people continue to evolve. And that is why we have democracy. So we cannot say, oh, let's go to the primitive era, because that was what suited our forefathers. No, we have left that side. And so, governments and governors and leaders must learn to say, look, even though everybody wants a steady flow of agreeable words, nobody wants to be challenged, nobody wants to, but the truth is that you must recognize that if you are not challenged, you will not be your best. I will want to sleep until whenever, I feel like waking up. But I know that if I sleep like that, I will not be able to achieve my goal. So anybody that taps me to wake up, is, I mean, challenging my right to, I mean, my desire to sleep as long as I want, is actually helping me. And that's what it is like a government. Unless you challenge government, not even the most benevolent, the most well-meaning government cannot attain their best. And so opposition is a very important, part of good governance anywhere.
So is the opposition challenging the government in Nigeria?
Of course, opposition is challenging the government in Nigeria. In fact, I think that Nigeria is a part of why the backwardness of Africa is attributable to Nigeria. Because if Nigeria were to get it right, with the force we have, with the power we have in Africa, we will be able to provide a lead, and we'll be able to demand that smaller African countries should not abuse their power. The problem of Africa is that Nigeria has not gotten it right. In Nigeria, whereby the president will rather, I mean, the presidency, let me not be particular now, the presidency will look on while the mess of the National Assembly is being hijacked. Governors that are in the opposition that speak loudly, the next day EFCC is asking of them. I mean, asking for the account and all that. That gives us, we have, because of these things, we don't have the moral right to demand that these smaller African countries, who have benefited so much from Nigeria, should abide by the tenets of democracy. So Nigeria, what is happening in Nigeria? I mean, look at what the Senate president, he changed his party, and every day, you know, nothing else is happening other than Saraki must go and Saraki must not go. I'm not saying that you should not go, but the thing is that security agencies should keep to their work. Let our security agencies be professional. Let politicians do their politics. But the issue of blocking the Senate president from moving out, going to the governors that defect, going to the PDP leaders, and even the anti-corruption crusade being messed up. I mean, very good program that everybody signed into, but at the end of the day, we find out that all those things were targeted at the opposition. And the only behavior change that he has elicited is people those who may be corrupt, moving from PDP to APC. That is, at the end of the day, good programs like that is messed up because government cannot tolerate opposition.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okwi Okpala, an African Affairs Analyst, for joining us on the program.
God bless you.